Okay, we're going to take some flexural measurements of this brick. First thing we need to do is get out the plexiglass base, which has a magnetic sheet on the upper face. So we place that face up, the magnetic sheet is face up, there, and then we locate the knife edges, which are the foam strip on the top and a magnetic strip on the back, and that helps, the magnetic strip holds the knife edges in place on top of the plexiglass base. Now these knife edges are placed parallel to each other for flexure measurements. Then we put the microphone, we place that or position that between the two knife edges like so. We now put the sample on top of the knife edges, centered over the knife edges, and as you can see, the knife edge here is placed on the node, which is 0.224 of the length from this end, and this knife edge is also placed on the node, which is 0.224 of the length from this end. So the knife edges are placed where the sample vibrates with zero amplitude. Now the microphone is placed in the center of the sample, not touching it, but placed over the center where maximum amplitude occurs. So now we're going to do outer plane flexure, where the sample vibrates up and down like this. So we can tap the sample in the center with this small impulse tool, which has the plastic strip and ball bearing cemented on one end. This is described in ASTM E1876 and ASTM C1259. So we're going to tap the sample in the center, or at one end. In the center, or at one end. Now the microphone could also be placed on these ends, as well as in the center. Now for a heavier sample, and if the sample is heavily damped, we would need to use a heavier impulse tool. In that case we can use a screwdriver. We provide both the standard impulse tool and the screwdriver in the buzzosonic testing system. So for the screwdriver, we just simply drop the screwdriver on the sample and catch it on the rebound. And same on the end. Now if we want to do in-plane flexure, which is where the sample vibrates from side to side, we need to strike the sample in the center of one edge or on the end of one edge, like so, or like so, in the center, on the end, in the center, or on the end. Now for torsion measurements, we need to move these knife edges around. We put this one in the center, and then we place two knife edges like so in a cross configuration. And now we place the sample over this cross, centered over the cross, like so. This is for torsion measurements. Now we need to move the microphone to one end. Now for best results, we place the microphone where the knife edges were for flexure, which was at 0.224 of the length from each end. That way we reduce the chance of picking up any flexural vibrations. And we could place the microphone here or here. Now we can tap the sample in the alternative places where the microphone would be. So we can tap the sample here, here, or here. So tap it there, or there, or there. If we need to use the heavier impulse tool, we do the same thing with the screwdriver. So that would be the torsion measurement.